Well, 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 another big victory for the former President Donald J. Trump. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0 that the states did not have a right to remove candidates, presidential candidates from the ballot, and that right is reserved to the Congress, which they pointed this out that Section 3 of the Constitution gives that right to the Congress, not states. Not to mention the fact that President Trump, I mean, they already tried to disqualify him by two failed impeachments. And, they tried to do, the states tried to do this political authoritarian removal, which was unconstitutional from the word go. First of all, due process was not honored. The man was never convicted of a crime, but they took it upon themselves to determine that President Trump was guilty of engaging in insurrection, which by law had never been proven. He never had been prosecuted for it, never been convicted for it. So they just said, well, you know what? We're going to just take him off the ballot because we think so. That's not how the Constitution of this country works. This is not supposed to be authoritarian rule. Unfortunately, we have a lot of authoritarian dictators in Congress that decide, they help even our executive branch, who decide they can just put directives in there to suspend habeas corpus and make people quote unquote enemy combatants based on their own determination. Well, again, this was a big win for not just President Trump, but this was a big win for democracy as a whole. Because what a lot of people have to realize is this is much bigger than Donald Trump. Matter of fact, this is much bigger than Donald Trump. This has to do with what our government can do moving forward. If they were to allow, the Supreme Court was to allow, I mean, basically, the Supreme Court is the last line of defense for the Constitution. That is what they're supposed to be, and they met up to that today. They lived up to that because, even the three liberal judges said, no, we can't go along with this. So this was not even something that was done on an ideological split. This was a constitutional decision, a completely constitutional decision. And I'm waiting for the shit lib pundits and the liberal view. I'm just waiting for the cackling hens on the view to see how they spin this one, because they can't just say, well, it was the conservative justices and all the naysayers about the Supreme Court and how they have it's stacked by Trump and all that stuff. I like to see how they would determine that stacking the court would help on this case, because then it would probably have been 11-0 rather than 9-0. So these folks think that stacking the deck in their favor is going to help them. Well, it didn't help them in this situation because the three liberal judges also ruled in favor of Donald Trump. All right. So this was a great win for democracy, not just Donald Trump. It was a much bigger win for democracy. Let's just call it what it is, because at the end of the day, it would have been a horrific decision for this country had they said it was okay for the states to just determine that he was guilty of insurrection and that they can just arbitrarily remove whoever they want from the ballots. That means we don't really have, that means voting means nothing. That means they just decide who you get to vote for, which they've been doing that basically for a long time, because we really don't have much of a real choice. I mean, think about it. Neither party really wants third party candidates. See, the problem is with some of these establishment Republicans, they didn't really want Trump, but they're stuck with him because Trump could have still, let me tell you something, and I'll say this, and I think there's a lot of people that agree with me on this. If President Trump ran as a third party candidate, he'd be just as powerful as if he ran with Republicans, maybe more powerful. That's one thing they want to avoid. They're just hoping that he could be squashed through some type of weaponization of the government through the Biden administration, among others, and that's not working out too well either, as you can see. Because I will say this too, there's a sidebar. I think Fani Willis is going to be removed from this case down there in Georgia. The case may just get thrown out, but if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure that Fani Willis has shown herself to be ghetto, very unprofessional, very emotional, and very entitled. And I just don't see how, even if they let her stay on this trial, how it would look good for the country or look good for Georgia. Because I think that her credibility is shot at this point. It really is. Because she did, I mean, come on, everything was done in cash. I don't think that was just by accident. But I digress. Anyway, this was a great win. And, people can not like President Trump. They cannot like Joe Biden, or they can like him, or either way. That's people are missing the point. They think this is about Donald Trump. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is an example of what the government is willing to do to stack the deck, to maintain the status quo, to maintain control. And we gotta respect this decision. We actually should celebrate the decision because it's the right decision. Okay, just want to do that short video to address this. And moving forward, maybe we can start having some real elections. Well, as close as we can get to at this point. We still got a long way to go. I'm out.